There was an elderly man named Mr. Min who lived in a quiet neighborhood nestled within a busy city. He had retired after over 40 years as a schoolteacher. With no wife or children, he lived alone in a modest house filled with books and memories. Every morning he walked to a nearby park and sat on the same old stone bench under a leafy tree, quietly watching life go by with a gentle smile. Many people thought he must be lonely, but Mr. Min believed he was living more fully than ever. "I used to be so busy I forgot to thank life for the sunrise. Now I finally have time to do that," he often said. One morning, while sitting on his usual bench, a young boy around 10 years old approached and sat beside him. The boy's name was Long. He had just moved into the neighborhood with his mother after his parents' divorce. Sad and quiet, Long spent most of his time sitting alone in a corner of the park. Mr. Min didn't ask many questions. He simply offered the boy a piece of bread and began telling a light-hearted story. That became their routine. Every morning, the old man would tell long tales from his teaching days about mischievous students, lessons on kindness, the importance of gratitude, and the value of patience. Over time, Long began to smile more. He asked questions, laughed at jokes, and started to share parts of his own story. It was as though the sadness inside him slowly dissolved with each conversation on that old bench. One Sunday morning, Long turned to him and said, "I want to do something good for other people, like you." Mr. Min smiled and replied, "Start by listening, and then by sharing what you have, even if it's just a little. That's the greatest gift you can give." From that day on, Long brought extra cartons of milk, small pastries, and handed them out to the homeless near the park. On some days, he and his mother baked cookies. On others, he collected used books and comics to give away to kids in need. Mr. Min always followed from a distance, never interfering, just watching with a proud, quiet heart. Soon, people in the neighborhood began to take notice. A university student brought her guitar to the park, playing cheerful tunes while raising funds for charity. A local mechanic offered free bicycle repairs every Saturday. Slowly, from that little stone bench, a wave of kindness began to ripple across the community. Then, one rainy morning, Mr. Min didn't come to the park. Worried, Long ran to his house and learned that the old man had been taken to the hospital. His heart had weakened, and the doctors weren't sure he'd recover. That day, Long brought a small bouquet of wildflowers to the hospital and sat beside the old man's bed. He leaned in and whispered, "Grandpa Min, the bench is waiting for you. But if you can't come back, I promise I'll sit there for you. I'll keep telling stories. I'll keep sharing kindness, just like you taught me." Mr. Min smiled faintly. "You've understood the secret of life. It's not about how long we live, but what we leave behind." A few days later, he passed away peacefully in his sleep, just as gently as he had lived. The following week, a small wooden plaque appeared on the stone bench in the park. It read, "Here once sat a man who taught us that kindness doesn't have to be grand. It only needs to begin, with a bench and a story." Since then, Long has continued to visit the bench every morning. Sometimes he sits silently, listening to the birds. Other times he tells stories to anyone who joins him. And occasionally he simply sits and remembers the man who showed him what it means to live a good life.